In today's video, we will be discussing everything to do with the IELTS Writing Task 1 academic section. So in this video, I will be discussing how you should write your IELTS Writing Task 1, as well as the top 10 strategies that I give to my students that have helped them score a high band. Then I will discuss what you should include in each paragraph to help you achieve a high band in your IELTS journey. Just a little bit about myself. I am a certified English teacher in Canada, and I have coached many students in the IELTS exam for the past 6 years. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel as I put out content every Friday with lots of strategies as to help you in your IELTS journey. Also, please check out my website at eslwords.com, where I have lots of articles that will help you for your IELTS exam. So let's get right into the video. So in the IELTS Writing Task 1 academic section, you will be provided with a visual, something along the lines of a graph or a diagram, a bar graph, maybe a line graph, and you need to explain in your answer what the graph or diagram is showing, what information you have understood from this graph or diagram. However, you only have 20 minutes to complete this section, which is not a lot of time. That's why I decided to make this video to help you get done right under the 20-minute mark. I will provide you with lots of detail to help you of how you should format your IELTS Writing Task 1 answer, as well as what you should include in each paragraph. Here are some tips of how you should write your IELTS Writing Task 1 answer. You should include a maximum of 4 paragraphs, and none of these paragraphs should include a conclusion. I should have a maximum of 12 sentences, and a minimum of 150 words is required. If you write less than 150 words, you will get a low band, so make sure that you write a minimum of 150 words, and I recommend writing a maximum of 225 words. Remember that if you are clear and concise using fewer words, this will help you score a high band in your IELTS Writing Task 1. So here are some top tips that I recommend to you. In tip 1, you must use synonym language throughout your sentences. This is something you may have heard, but believe it or not, this is one of the top methods you could use to score a high band. So I highly recommend using synonym language throughout your answer. Tip 2 is writing in your own words is key. So I know that the graph or the chart will give you words that you might be tempted to use in your answer, which is fine. You could use some, but remember that if you write in your own words, this will show the examiner that you are proficient in the English language. Third step is making sure that you double check your sentences and that you have no spelling errors. I know this sounds easy, but honestly, guys, if you have spelling errors, this will not help you get a high band. So this is something so easy to double check. You use words that are not too complex. Just try to use simple words. The fourth tip I have for you is that you must be able to manage your time. So I will provide you with some great detail of how to manage your time when you are writing your IELTS Task 1. However, you need to keep track of time to finish, so you can spend more time on the IELTS Writing Task 2, since that part is worth a lot more than the Writing Task 1. So you want to make sure that you're able to finish both on time. So the fifth tip I have for you is becoming familiar with the assessment criteria. This is so important because then you will get a general idea of what the examiner is looking for. So the sixth tip I have for you is that you should use formal language throughout your answer. Make sure that you don't have a mix of formal and informal language. Use formal throughout the answer because this will show the examiner that you are able to write concisely as well as you are able to use the same type of language throughout your entire answer. So tip 7 is to show your paraphrasing abilities right from the introduction. So if you are able to paraphrase right from the beginning, this will show the examiner a great first impression of your abilities. So the 8th tip I have for you is you only need to highlight the key sentences in the visual. You don't need to discuss the basics of what the visual is showing. Rather, look at the specific information of what it is showing and what it is representing. And that's what you write about in your IELTS Writing Task 1. So, tip number 9 I have for you is that you need to make sure that your paragraphs are in an order that makes the most sense. You don't want to be writing your paragraphs that are all confusing. It makes the examiner confused. He doesn't understand what you are discussing. So, make sure that your paragraphs are in a good order, chronological order that make the most sense. So the last tip I have for you is that you need to pay attention to using the same tense throughout your discussion. You want to make sure that if you are talking in past tense, your entire answer is written within the past tense form. This is key, guys. This will show the examiner your capabilities of writing in the English language. So make sure you take this into consideration. You are wondering what to include in each paragraph, here is a little overview that I have written for you. So your first paragraph should include an introduction. Your second paragraph should include an overview of the image or the visual that you have been given. The third paragraph should discuss one specific idea. So one specific idea that has to do with the visual. And the fourth paragraph should also discuss another detailed idea. So a second detailed idea that you would like to discuss. As I mentioned earlier, you do not need to include a conclusion. You don't need to include a conclusion because you have already discussed what the image is about throughout 4 paragraphs. And because you don't need to include your personal opinion, a conclusion is not needed. Also, keep in mind that you will not be docked marks. You will not be given less marks if you don't include a conclusion. So you don't need to spend time on writing a conclusion in the writing task academic section. So just keep that in mind. So now let's talk about how you should format your answer for each question type. These are the type of questions you may see in the IELTS Writing Task 1 academic section. You may be given a pie chart visual or a line graph, 2 graphs visual that where you have to compare both graphs, or a table question. I have broken it down just so you see that there is no difference in the way you write out your answer. So, for example, for a pie chart, you would have an introduction, general overview, specific paragraph number 1, and specific paragraph number 2, and they all have 3 sentences each. Next, a line graph would also follow the same format. You would have an introduction, general overview, specific paragraph number 1, where you mention specific information for the first and specific information number 2. Same goes with the 2 graphs and the table questions. So just remember, you do not need a conclusion for any of these question types, and you will not get docked marks if you don't include a conclusion. You only have 20 minutes, so you want to make sure you finish on time. I actually have included a downloadable PDF in the description box below for a more thorough explanation of what each paragraph should include for these question types. If you'd like to download that PDF, check out the description box down below, and this will definitely help you prepare for the IELTS Writing Task 1 question. I hope that these strategies will help you with preparing for your IELTS Writing Task 1. If you'd like to see more videos of anything in particular, please comment down below, as I'd love to hear from you. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I put out content every Friday to help you on your IELTS journey. If you'd like to read about more strategies that I have provided for you, then please check out my blog at eslwords.com, because I can guarantee you, if you follow the steps that I have provided, you will score a high band.